Hi, Bill here. I'd like to talk about checkmating patterns with a lone piece. So a single piece gives the checkmate. First of all, we'll start by putting the black king on the board. I'll put it in the corner because that's the easiest place to checkmate. There's only 4 squares to control. Now, you can never check with a king because a king can never be next to a king. A lone pawn can never checkmate because it'll just be taken. So to checkmate with pawns, you need at least the assistance of a king to defend it. So a lone pawn can't do it. So no lone piece can checkmate against the lone king. So we're going to need the king blocked in by at least one of its own pieces. So if I add a pawn here, a lone queen can checkmate. And it wouldn't be the case if this pawn didn't get in the way of the king. And a very similar checkmate is if I remove this pawn and put a rook on this square, and we've got a checkmate like so. So a lone queen can checkmate. Now if I add, let's see, so we've done, pawns can't do it. Now can the lone knight checkmate? The answer is yes. So a knight can check from here or here. So I just need to add a few black pieces to trap the king. So put a rook here, put a pawn here, and a pawn here. That's the famous smother mate. The king is surrounded by its own pieces and a lone knight checkmates. It is possible to set up some other types of checkmates with the lone knight. The first thing is these pieces may be different pieces. This can be any kind of piece that doesn't attack this square. So it can't be a queen or a rook, but it could be a bishop, that's checkmate. It could be a knight, that's checkmate. Now this here could be any kind of piece at all, so it could even be a queen, could be a rook, could be a bishop or a knight. So there's some variation of the types of pieces that can be on these squares. This piece can be anything at all which can't attack that, so it can't be a queen or bishop. So as well as being a rook, it could be a knight as well. So we can't really have 3 knights unless somebody's promoted to a knight. So if I switch back to a pawn, we could have some kind of smothered mate with different pieces being substituted for 2 pawns and a rook, which is the most common form. So if I put the pawn back and the rook here, that is the most common type of smothered checkmate. It is conceivable to create a checkmate with a lone knight in a different way. If I put the rook here and the king here, so we have something like this, make that empty, so the knight controls this square and this square. So all I need to do is to have black pieces filling these squares, so I can put anything there which can't take the knight. Cannot be a pawn or a bishop or a queen, but it could be a rook or knight, so I could put a rook there. This piece could be any piece at all, say it's a bishop. So that would be rare, but it is a kind of checkmate with a lone knight, but much more common would be the smothered mate. So a knight can do it. A lone bishop can checkmate. So I put the king in the corner and put a bishop right next to the king. Put a pawn here. So now the king can't move to either of those squares. So I put a bishop here. That's a checkmate. Note that that has to be a bishop. If it was a rook, it could go here. If it was a knight, it could take the bishop. Or if it's a queen, it can move forward. So a king next to a bishop allows a lone bishop to checkmate. So of course, because a queen can do anything a bishop can do, you can have a queen there on the diagonal somewhere as well as a bishop to create a checkmate. So that's checkmate with the lone bishop. If the king was here, say, and it puts a bishop here, and remove that, bishop checks on this diagonal, and a pawn, and a rook. So again, we have a lone bishop checkmating. It's pretty much the same pattern as before, except instead of the king being in the corner, these two pieces stop it moving to the rook's file. So, and of course a queen can do anything a bishop can, so we can have a queen on the diagonal as well. So that's how a lone queen or bishop could checkmate on a diagonal. So we have the rook. So the most famous lone rook checkmate is the back rank checkmate. So a weak back rank's any time a king can't move off the back line. So if a rook goes down to the back rank, that's checkmate. So that's one way a lone rook could do it. Another way is the king was here, we had a pawn. That's another form of back rank checkmate. Now these pieces could vary. Well, this one here would have to be a pawn. If the rook was here, this could be a knight. That'd still be a checkmate. Okay, so that has to be a pawn or knight. It wouldn't work if the rook was over here somewhere, because the knight could then block. The rook was here. Oops. So the rook was there. I'll just remove the highlights. That would be a checkmate. Now this pawn could be anything except a knight, or bishop or queen. So bishop or queen can move backwards, so that would be a checkmate if there's a rook there, because the rook can't go backwards. Okay, so it could be a rook or pawn, and this thing here, this pawn here, could be any piece at all except a knight, because a knight could jump back here. So even if we had something like this, you get some kind of a back rank checkmate with different combinations of pieces stopping the king from escaping. Okay, so a lone rook can a rook can either check in two ways, on the rank or on the file. So another way a lone rook could checkmate would be on the file. So we had something like this. Remove that queen. I'll put a pawn there. 50 squares. So all I have to do is put a black piece here. It can't be anything that can move diagonally. It can't be a knight. So it has to be a rook. So there's a rook there. That'd be a checkmate on the file. And this pawn, well, yeah, it would have to be a pawn. If it was any kind of other piece, it could move and block. So that's another kind of checkmate with the with a lone rook. And of course, if we had a queen there, it'd still be a checkmate, because any position you have a lone bishop or rook that can checkmate a queen would also do the job. So let's see. So we did some of the checkmates with a lone queen. I'll just see if there's any more. Not really. Of course, we can have variations on the other one where here we just need a black piece that stops the king from escaping, because unlike a rook, the queen defends this square, so this is a form of background checkmate. So I think that's pretty much it for the common checkmates with a lone piece. So thank you for watching.